Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Pender County Board of Education's Committee of the Whole. It is determined that we do have a quorum today. In attendance, we have myself, Mr. Reeves, and Ms. Hanson, and on the phone we have Mr. Hall.
Yep, that's right.
There we are. Do we have Mr. Spivey joining us on the phone? Okay, regardless, we do have a quorum here today, so this meeting is now officially called to order. We are now going to go on to the adoption of the agenda. Would anyone like to give a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the agenda has been
Aye.
adopted. Oh, thank you, Mr. Hall. The agenda has been adopted, and we are going to 3.1, Pender County Schools Budget Report with summary by PRC.
In the packet, you
Ms.
have
Allen.
your information on from our finance department. Obviously, Ms. Allen is not here today, but certainly will ask that you ask any questions that you want, and we'll make sure that you have any responses as a board. We'll make sure that if we can't answer them in here today, then we will work to get you the answer soon.
Very good. For today, do we have Mr. McPherson? Is he running late? Has anyone heard from
I
him?
have not heard from him.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see, let's move on to number 4, Policy Strategic Planning 4.1. Consider changes to Policy 8325. Mr. Taylor?
You have in front of you the policy. It's basically cash on hand. That's very loud. You don't have to worry about hearing me today. So essentially, just one small or two small changes to that, raising the cash on hand for schools before they make a deposit from $250, which will remain the elementary school limit, $500 for middle school, and $1,500 for high school. Athletic gates, things of that nature is what it's used for. So just before the deposit. So this will be first read and then recommend for second read in November. Any questions?
Was there decided to increase the amounts, or just to reduce trips to the bank, or what?
No, it's any athletic event at a high school is going to produce more than $250
Sure.
at the gate. So it's just bringing the policy into practice mostly, so that we're not breaking a policy. Essentially, just to be, frank and honest.
Sure.
Well, and especially since I think there's been legislation passed.
Yes.
That we do have to take cash at the gates now, so.
And our schools have they feel like this is an adequate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Mr. Paquette. Oh, he's out. Never mind. He stepped out. Well, Mr. Harris, is $500 adequate?
Depends on the side, like it depends on
Yeah.
if we have a big crowd.
And we still offer the option for, online tickets too.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Very good. Any more questions?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, number 5, Student Services, 5.1, Growth Study Presentation, Mr. Michael Taylor. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Student Support Services has 3 items for Committee of the Whole today that we would like to have added to the November board meeting. The first item is the growth planning study presentation that's currently being conducted by NC State ITRI, Institute for Transportation and Research and Education. This organization helps facilitate the transportation program across the state of North Carolina as well. And this is our first big step in making sure that we're prepared in the spring to begin our boundary planning for the opening of the J.H. Lee School. We have to validate current growth in the municipalities as well as the rural areas, Southern Hampstead in particular, Scotts Hill region, and along the 210 corridor. From that geocoding of all current students, we will be able to then begin drawing potential or proposed boundary lines for the opening of our new school. And the draft presentation is forthcoming. The intention is for you to have that approximately 1 week prior to the board meeting for your review.
So does this study only pertain to Hampstead?
No, ma'am. This study does pertain to the entire school system, but that allows us to more closely monitor the boundaries of all schools. But in planning for the new boundary for J.H. Lee, especially the elementary school, obviously. Topsail Middle School boundary may change some, obviously, with the increased capacity, going up to approximately 1,500 middle school students. So we would be able to adjust boundaries as needed.
Can you tell us what all criteria they use to determine this? Are they looking at even permits that are already issued?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They use current permits without houses, current permits under construction, and then historical proposals and the validation of student generation. For example, many of our homes in the Hampstead region, the 17 corridor, produce about 0.4 students for every new home. So if you have 100 homes, then you're looking at 40 students. Is that right? Is that my math right? I think that's right, yeah. So you're looking at 40 students for every new home. And then some of the rural areas, obviously, they use calculation for acre, which reduces that student impact.
I just say put on another cap. I know that there is a lot of growth going to be happening in our area in the next year.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're exactly right. There's currently
A lot.
several thousand homes
Yes.
potentially on this side of the river. Yes, ma'am. From the Burgaw to Rocky Point region.
Burgaw has been approved for some time.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And those will all be part of the calculation for and based on the phase timeline that's been presented by the developers and approved by the planning boards in Town of Burgaw, Town of Star City, as well as the Pender County unit itself.
Well, and I know that redistricting, whenever J.H. Lee opens, is going to be substantial.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, we've got a lot of, Hampstead is very compact,
Yes, ma'am.
and there's a lot of people, a lot of students in there. So I know that, I think this growth study is going to help us definitely go in and try to, as we have said before, not only push things to J.H. Lee, but I think this might start being the push for everything westward. So
It will give us
much needed room.
yes, ma'am. It will give us a 10-year planning enrollment summary as well, which will help us 10 years down the road see what our summary is projected to be based on current growth status.
Good information for future planning.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And this organization conducted the study several years ago before McKibben and Cropper did one, and they were within 0.2 percentage points of our current enrollment. So they have a lot of our data, a lot of our historical data. They use all of our TIMS transportation modeling as well. So it's really one of the most concise studies that we can have. Any other questions? All right. The second item is the proposal for policy 4370 updates. This would be considered the first read. The alignment of our policies is critically important. We recently made you recently approved changes to policy 4353, which is our student discipline policy. In part of that policy, it talked about the long-term suspension and appeals hearing process. This policy, 4370, is specific to that. And so there's just a couple of line items changed you can see in your board packet. I think there's a total of 10 words that are changed throughout the entire policy. And basically, we're just trying to align 4353 and 4370 so that we're communicating clearly with all of our constituents across the district. And upon review by Mr. McPherson, we would ask that this policy be added to the action agenda for second read and approval at the November board meeting, if you so see fit. Okay? Thank you. And the last item I want to bring to your attention is our Juvenile Attendance Council initiative. This is our current practice, and we've been doing this since the spring of 2023. And Ms. Radabal would like to have a presentation regarding the successes and challenges related to our Student Attendance Improvement Initiative. And this is our final step in what we call our truancy diversion pathway. This allows us to support students and families in order to promote attendance and academic success. It's also allowed us to build an extremely positive relationship with our local legal officials. They recognize the attempts and the strategies that we put into place to encourage students, to encourage student attendance. This also allows us oftentimes to work with the legal system and our parents to identify wraparound support services that we can additionally provide to ensure that students are attending school. And obviously, we know when kids are in school, they're getting fed and they're getting a solid education from our teachers. Any questions regarding that?
Yes, sir.
All right, and Ms. Radabal, like I said, will have a full presentation for the information agenda at the November 2025 board meeting. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, number six, instructional services, 6.1, school improvement presentations. Dr. Sawyer?
Good morning, Board. So low-performing schools are identified by the state of North Carolina are those that have an overall performance grade of a D or an F and met expected growth or not met expected growth, according to that policy. This year, we have 3, not 7, so there was a mistake in there. Pender High, and CF Pope. Last year, we did have 7. This year, we've gone down in the numbers. We've been consistently supporting all schools, have school improvement teams comprised of teachers, administrators, staff, and parents to gather data and input on the needs of the school, develop action plans, and metrics for measuring success and improvement. According to the statute, the Board of Education is required to approve all school improvement plans before submitting them to the state in December. The deadline is December 6th. So from this presentation, we make the plans available to parents for the month of November for any additional feedback, and then provide, any adjustments to the plans before we move forward.
Can I ask a quick question before you get started?
Yes.
How far off was CF Pope from meeting their goal?
1 point.
You're going to talk about it? Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted, I knew it wasn't,
All of our
thought.
schools that were identified this year were so close to coming out.
right, I just wanted to curious,
Yes.
just how, I
So
couldn't
close.
remember. Yeah.
Yep, and I think they're all going to talk about it, so I'm going to
Okay.
let them have that. Any questions? We're going to start with CF Pope, so I'm going to ask Ms. Brittany Moore. Brittany, this is for you. I'll get you started and then you can. There you go. Okay.
Good morning, board members, cabinet members, and any visitor or guests in the room or online. I am Brittany Moore, and I have the pleasure of serving as principal at CF Pope Elementary School. And it is my pleasure today to present our school improvement plan. So our vision at CF Pope Elementary is to provide all students with a rigorous and rich educational experience in a safe and respectful environment that fosters lifelong learning. Our school's mission is that the staff, families, and community members are dedicated to intellectual, social, and physical development of students through positive relationships, professionalism, and collaboration. We will build and sustain a community that focuses on growth and proficiency for all students through diversified experiences. Our core values at CF Pope Elementary are professionalism, achievement in all areas, work ethic, and safe and supportive environment. And just an overview of our school demographics, we currently, as of today, have 471 students enrolled. In pre-K, we have an enrollment of 49 students with 3 classes, kindergarten, 67 students with 4 classes, first grade, 72 students with 4 classes, second grade, 71 students with 4 classes, third grade, 79 students with 4 classes, fourth grade, 65 students with 3 classes, and fifth grade, 68 students with 3 classes as well. We are a pretty diverse school when it comes to ethnicities and backgrounds. We have a 10% of our student population who is of 2 or more races. Our Hispanic populations continue to increase, and we are currently at 20%. Our American, Indian, Alaskan, Asian populations are in Native Hawaiian are less than 1%, but our white Caucasian subgroup is 34.4% of our population, and Black and African American 33.5%. So this is the information that I am most excited to share. This in the next slide to talk about our overall performance in school growth this year. So overall for achievement in reading, math, and science, our achievement score was 36.8. Our growth score was 84.4, increase from last year from a 41 performance grade overall to a 46, which is still a D. And as Dr. Sawyer stated, to come out of low performing, if you are an F or D school, you do have to exceed growth overall. So in just a second, I'll talk a little bit more about our breakdown. But overall, in all categories, we met growth and exceeded in math this year. All right, and so this is the exciting data. At the top, you can see our 23-24 data, and at the bottom is our comparison to 24-25. So of course, we had less students the past school year, and that also meant we had less test scores, and sometimes you can see a decrease in proficiency and growth if you have less students. Our index score was negative 3.80 the year before, and last year it was 1.79. So the standard deviation for meeting and exceeding growth falls on the scale from -2 to +2. Anything over +2 is exceeding. So our index score last year was 1.79, so we were pretty close. We did meet growth overall, but also wanting to bring attention to all of our subgroups. In 23-24, our Black population was -3.21. This year it was 1.15. Our Hispanic population did meet growth both years, but last year it did increase to 0.83. For our white students, they did not meet growth in 23-24, and it was -2.90. Last year it was 1.21, and we met growth as well. Economically disadvantaged students, which is 85% of our student population, the year before was -4.26, and last year was 1.90. Our English language students, the year before, we did not have enough students in that category to be considered. And this year, we met growth with a -0.85. In our students with disabilities categories, the year before, we did not meet growth with a -2.91. And this year, we met growth with 0.91. And reading, although we did meet the year before, it was -1.17. And this year, we met growth and it was +1.53. And in math, we did not meet the year before. It was -3.68, and last year we exceeded with +2.25.
Nice.
So the next slides that I will share is our school improvement plan. I will summarize most of the information, as this is kind of the work that we're doing to continue to increase achievement and growth. Our first goal is to eliminate opportunity gaps by 2027. Goal 1, the school staff community will communicate school-wide behavior expectations that are understood and achieved by students and staff by providing positive behavior supports. And the second goal under Goal 1 is that the school implements a tiered instruction system that allows teachers to deliver evidence-based instruction aligned with individual needs of students across all tiers. And then we have all of the action steps listed for Goal 1 and 2. So for Goal 1, first 10 days of school, our teachers are provided with core behavior support lessons that they teach the first 10 days of school to all students. We have a PBIS committee that meets monthly to discuss implementation successes and adjustments that need to be made to impact positive student outcomes. And we continuously track student behavior and the effectiveness of behavior support. We also celebrate positive behaviors on a monthly basis across the school and just share those success stories with our student, staff, and community members. In our additional Goal 1, Element 2, students who are on a supplemental or intensive plan the last school year, that information continues in the 25-26 school year. It is evaluated on a monthly basis based on interventions that are provided and the student's goal attainment to determine if another round of supplemental or recommendation to intensive is necessary, or if the student can transition back to core. We have an MTSS coordinator that meets with our teachers on a monthly basis, at minimum once per month. Sometimes if the data presents itself, it can be more than that, but we do meet at least once a month as an MTSS core team, and that is each Tuesday, the second Tuesday of each month. In those meetings, we use several data points to assess and identify student needs, including M-Class, NC check-ins, STAR reading, which is specific to CF Pope, STAR math, district benchmarks, curriculum assessments, as well as previous standardized test scores. Goal 2 is to improve school and district performance by 2027. Our school regularly communicates with parents and guardians about the expectation of them and the importance of the curriculum to support students at home. In addition to using units of instruction and activities that align with AIG goals, ELL support for students, as well as IEP goals and objectives for all students. Action steps to support both of those goals. We will continue to incorporate progress report pickup and student-led conferences with our annual Title I night, which has happened this year already. This year we did add a third grade parent meeting to our annual Title I event due to all the requirements for third grade. It was important for us to add the additional layer of support for our third grade families. This year we will continue to host a day in the classroom, which allows parents of students in kindergarten through 5th grade to join us for arts and letters and or a Eureka Math Squared lesson where they are able to learn in the classroom alongside their student. We will also continue to have a Duke Energy Science Night that invites parents and guardians to engage in hands-on science experiments that align with the North Carolina Standard Course of Study for each grade level. And we will also continue to have our kindergarten through 4th grade transition night. The additional action steps to support go to Element 2. Teachers will continue to use a variety of assessment tools, both formative and summative, to track student progress. Our AIG students will continue to engage in advanced challenging activities that extend beyond their regular curriculum during our WIN blocks, which stands for What I Need. Our EL students will continue to receive scaffolded support in the form of visual aids, bilingual resources, and peer collaborations. Students with IEPs will receive personalized support such as additional time for assignments, access to assistive technology as needed, and modified assignments. The activities will be adjusted to accommodate learning preferences with clear, manageable steps for tasks, and use visual hands-on materials to support learning. Our goal 3 is to increase educator preparedness to meet the needs of every student by 2027. Goal 3, Element 1, the LEA of school will continue to look at school performance data and aggregated classroom observation data to make decisions about school improvement and professional development needs. Our school and LEA will continue to provide high staff quality, ongoing job-embedded professional development, and action steps to support that work includes progress monitoring data points for each student to track growth, digression and achievement for reading and math K-5 through our monthly data digs that is facilitated by our early literacy interventions, our instructional coach, and in school administration. We have weekly PLCs that are facilitated by administration, our instructional coach, or our BT coach. Our teachers actually have 2 PLCs a week, and we will continue to develop professional development plans that address the gaps in data. And this year, we're privileged to have advanced teaching roles in our schools. We have a classroom excellence teacher, as well as an advanced classroom excellence teacher, and I can't get the other word out. Adult teacher leadership, and she supports our 4th and 5th grade students with modeling, co-teaching, and data-driven planning. Additionally, we have professional development that is aligned to the school's district and instructional priorities, and professional development that is job embedded based off of teacher needs, as well as we pair our new or less experienced teachers with veteran teachers. We do have a TSI designation, so we will continue to use aligned resources and money, mostly individuals within the school, to support those priorities. Our action steps include that our administration team, our ML team, as well as our EC teachers and interventionists working together to create our master schedule that allows 30 to 45 minutes each day for the students to have a block of time in reading and math that is referred to as WIN or I&E time. All grade levels across our school, that schedule is embedded for students to have that time. We are using a lot of Title I funds to hire additional teachers for class size reduction in 5th grade if it is necessary. Using Title I school funds again this year to create our after-school program called Panther Power Hour for our 3rd through 5th grade students to receive tutoring and enrichment in reading, math, and 5th grade science. That tutoring takes place 2 days a week for 1 hour and 30 minutes each day. Administration, as well as our instructional leadership team, has also tiered our teachers based on the support they need from walk-through observations. And this is just an overview of our state board goals as well as our school goals and our baselines for metrics and data this school year. For our school goal, our goal is by the end of 2027, CF Pope Elementary will have an achievement score of at least 52% on integrated assessments, reflecting a 5-point overall increase each year. Specifically looking at EOG data, M-Class, STAR Math, NC check-ins, walkthrough data, formal observations, and student and staff attendance, and just some baseline data of where we are as of date. While we haven't taken NC check-ins, we do have last year's test scores and M-Class data from last year, but we have taken M-Class and STAR Math this year, so the data on top reflects where we currently are. And I'm proud of that data because even with it being beginning of the year, it is showing a lot of growth even where we ended from last year. As far as our school goals for improving the school and district performance, we will continue to maintain staff retention rate of it. Our goal is to retain at least 89% of our staff. Last year was 85, so we did exceed our staff retention rate, which I'm most proud about. As the principal at CF Pope Elementary, when I came in, our staff rate was about 50%, so I'm excited that that rate continues to increase over the years. And our goal is to consistently maintain attendance rate of 95% or higher for both students and staff by cultivating an environment that is supportive, engaging, and responsive to the needs of our school and community. And the baseline for that, our retention rate last year was 89%. Overall student attendance rate as of this year is 94% overall, and staff at 93%. And increasing educator preparedness, we will continue to improve the staff perception of our facilities and safety, building cleanliness, and maintain maintenance through the implementation of our district strategic plan and targeted facility improvements. And we're using our teachers' working condition surveys and tracking maintenance work orders to track that data. And just some highlights. Like I said, I'm most proud of our teacher retention rate, retaining 89% of our staff. That we had a 23.4 increase in student growth this year, going from 61 to 84.4. We also increased our index score from negative 3.80 to 1.79, and the overall school performance increased from 41 to 46. We met growth in all areas and exceeded in math. Our advanced teaching roles, effective in our schools this year, which include our classroom excellence and adult leadership teacher. We are considered a model school for our data wall that supports the DIBELS 8 protocol and monthly reading and math data digs. So I'm excited to be able to have principals in other schools see our data wall and our process for that. Flexible grouping for reading and math, I&E, kindergarten through 5th grade is happening at our school this year. In additional something additional that we're doing this year with the transition to arts and letters from wit and wisdom, we were able to add a walk to read block for our 4th and 5th grade students. All of the 4th and 5th grade students took our core phonics survey, and based off that data, students were split into 10 different groups, so which is a mix of 4th and 5th grade students, but they are leveled based off their performance on that assessment, and they receive individualized instruction based off the needs of that, in additional to the win time that each student continues to have each day. We participate in literacy walkthroughs 3 times a year, instructional rounds twice a year. We have tiered our teachers for support. We have our Panther Power Hour tutoring program that will continue. We have Panther Support, which is in place, which has resulted in a 25% decrease in office referrals that resulted in in-school and out-of-school suspension. We will continue with a day in the classroom, Duke Energy Science Night, and student-led conferences as a part of our Title I nights. And just a next step for improvement is we have 3 vacancies at our school right now for 2nd grade, 4th grade math, and pre-K teacher. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. Teacher retention, almost 90% of your staff. And everything that I just read up there with the celebrations, you should not be up here right now. You were robbed. Because I know how very close you came to getting out of that designation. And I just wanted to say congratulations to you. And personally, I'm very proud of you, because I know you put a lot of very good supports in this past year. I know that Cindy Fontana was, I believe she was with your 4th grade math, if I'm not, or your 4th grade this year. And I know she served as a long-term sub, and Cindy and I we're very good friends, and she would call me up and tell me how excited she was to see all the things that you were putting in place out there. And plus, you were very smart in putting Cindy out there, because she's a great support. And like I said, that much, but I'm going to take this as we're not going to see you here next year. We are not. I see all the good things that you've come through this year. Like I said, you were robbed, but it's good to see you, and it's good to see all the good things that you have going on at CF Pope, and I thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for having Mr. Reeves and I at Educational Rounds. We had a great time, and we learned a lot. I learned, the one thing that I can think of that I learned that I did not know was, what is the term, is it diversity sticks? Equity sticks, where everybody gets pulled to answer questions, so that was really cool. But anyway, I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of your leadership, because it was clear to me that your teachers feel respected and they feel supported based on the questions that I asked them in the educational rounds. You know, what is it that you need? And they said, I feel like I have everything. She supports everything that I ask for or that I need. So, and you have some fantastic teachers.
Thank you.
I don't think we could ask for any better. I mean, we saw some great things happening there, and I'm really proud of you and your staff.
Thank you.
So
so
thank
much.
you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for having this at the instruction rounds. Just what she said, you're a great principal. It was obvious in the first 15 minutes I was in there. I said, this lady she's a great principal. You're a great leader. You're well respected by all your teachers. You had great teachers. What was it, 5 I went into?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just fantastic. You know, the way they, interacted with their students and just kept them engaged, and was the enthusiasm. And the teacher retention is because of you.
Well, thank y'all
They
so
want to stay there
much.
because you, I already know the answer to this, but I just want everybody to know, how long have you been there?
This is my 3rd year.
Okay, and you're gonna stay about 10 more?
If I'm privileged, I sure will.
I hope so.
Yep, thank you again.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you all for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I would like to invite Mr. Stephen Harris from Pender Lee.
Good morning, Board. Good morning, cabinet
morning.
members and everyone else joining us. So, like Dr. Sawyer said, Stephen Harris, Principal Pender Lee. I am very excited to share where we have come over the past year and where we plan to go over the next future couple of years. So, go ahead and go through. Do I have? Oh, it's right here. Sorry. All right, so this is our current mission and vision statements. I'm not going to go too in-depth in this because this is changing this year. This was something that, I was inherited as of last year, and so we're working with our school improvement team to kind of revamp this into what we want to see it as the future of our school and kind of make it our own in our current staff and our current vision of what we see that. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is, again, planned to change this year, so we're working on that piece right now. So. Our current enrollment, this was taken probably a week or two ago, so we've had a couple of come in and out, and so just, that's what it is. 504 students. I do like to push that, we, as a school, I do truly believe that I want to, you'll hear me say it, and plenty of times if you're ever in my school, Pender Lee's the place to be. I want us to be the place to be. I want us to be, with all the choices that families have nowadays, I want them to choose us. And so that's a big piece of what I believe in as a leader of a school. I want them to be a place for the people to be. And so I would continue to like this number to increase. I'd rather have more students than less students every year. So I want to continue to push this out as we go on over the next couple of years. Just as our school performance grade, and it was asked, Ms. Hanson, you asked a second ago how close Ms. Moore was. So as was spoken about earlier from Dr. Sawyer, there's 2 ways to get out of low performing. One is to exceeding growth overall, and the other one is to get to a C. All right, a D or F, you're in the low performing. The C level is 55. We're at a 54. So I've done the math. 11 scores. We were 11 scores away. That's not the students. Those are scores. 5th grade and 8th grade students take 3 tests each.
Right.
Every other grade level takes 2. So we needed to flip 11 tests from non-proficient to proficient, and we would be a C school right now, and I would not be in front of y'all. So I do not plan to be here next year. As much as I love being around y'all, I do not plan to be here next year. But that is how close we were, 11 scores. And I harp on that. We were 11 scores away. That means that every single kid matters. Every single push, every single test, every single content, it all matters. So that's how close we were in that piece there. So top, a lot more red. Bottom, a lot more green. Very happy about that. We met or exceeded growth across the board on every single subgroup in both content, math, and reading. So that is a very proud moment for our staff and everybody who pours into our students. Again, green, and I wish they showed blue for exceeding because that's how it shows the teacher shows, but green and blue is the goal there. And so you see the increase in math from a negative 2 to a positive 2, and so almost a 5-point difference there for math. Our reading, which again is a focus of ours, is growing. Is going to continue to grow for us, and I think that's a place where we can catch up on. And something that's not listed on here for growth and kind of doesn't count for up here is science as well. Our science course is another point of emphasis for us this year, which if you come to our staff meeting today, you'll see some highlights for our science check-ins that were taken last week. So some updates here from the 3-year growth, or the 3-year trends that we have had over proficiency. This is based off of year-over-year proficiency, like how it's looked over years. So notice from the 24-25 school year versus 23-24, we grew in almost all of all of our proficiency levels. We did see a slight dip in 6th and 7th grade math. There's reasons for this, for that, but if you notice there, the 8th grade math was a massive jump in proficiency increase from from an 8 to a 50. That's a huge jump, and we'll continue to see that trend. I feel, just based off our check-in scores and our teacher placements and things like that. But you see that overall, we have jumped almost 10 points in proficiency, which is huge, year over year in math. We do see it a little stagnant right here with reading, where we did grow in reading overall, from 41.3 to 42% proficiency level. So we do see a slight increase there. So that's again another point of interest, emphasis at our school is literacy and all those things, which we'll talk about here in a second. So the way these state goals are versus the way our school goals are, kind of matching them up because of what the state says your goal should be versus what our school and internalizing it and making it our own. It's kind of different for each school, and so ours here was focusing on the eliminating the opportunity gap. And I'm a big believer that, you know, if you're not at school, you can't learn. And if a teacher's not at school, 30 kids can't learn, or 25 kids can't learn. And so that's where I focused on this piece right here, is that eliminating that. And so it goes tied into our attendance goal. Some of this stuff has been put in place from last year, but it's also some new things that we've put in place this year. So I'm not going to go click through all these things, but you can see that you have access to these links. You can click through them. We have our attendance dashboard that keeps monthly attendance out for our students and staff, and kind of keeps it color coded for us. It shares out to our staff and so they can see it, and our students. We put together. I worked with Ms. Radaball. I was in the back a second ago, but with her on creating a full attendance practices sheet that's kind of preceded this district one that just came out. And we have created a new family and student handbook. That is updated and with all of our current information, this kind of rules and expectations for the school. The next one, our spelling out attendance, was a big success last year, something we are continuing to do this year. So every time a classroom is at 95% attendance, they get a letter. And then they spell out attendance. They hit level 1, they get a certain reward. Then they spell out attendance a second time, they get level 2, so on, so on, so on. But once they get to level 3, they have to have 100% attendance, meaning that every single kid is there, then they add that letter. So we do that. We did get a new social worker and expanding the roles there, and working with the social worker to kind of identify those chronically absent, working with those families to make sure that they get them to school and get them attending. This is the longest one, and you'll see a lot of the things kind of overlap, like the multi-tier systems supports kind of does go back with this one, as well as improving the school performance grades. One of the things, like Ms. Moore said, is that we are also a school that has the advanced teaching roles, which we have 2 adult leadership teachers who are very successful in their past and who have jumped into the roles now and working. It is work in progress, because we're one of the 3 pilot schools, 2 out of the 3 pilot schools, and we're to continue to grow with that. But it is showing early success based off our check-in scores and just the overall walkthroughs and things that we're seeing. And so there's that. Multi-layered tutoring supports we're working through. Continue to build tutoring supports through in school, outside of school, in the school days, after school days, during our intersessions, which I'll talk about in a second. So really providing a lot of different opportunities for our kids to get that extra support that they need, whether it be in the school or outside of school. So one of the things that we have done over past year is doing our intersession, which is 1 week out of our 3-week breaks. We invite kids in to get extra tutoring. They spend an hour and a half in reading, hour and a half in math, and an hour and a half in science if they're 5th or 8th grade, or in STEM if they're in other grades. So they come in, they get the extra support. We provide transportation. It's a great opportunity for our students. And so we've been doing that for the past year, which has shown success. Those kids who attended multiple intersessions last year showed growth on their EOGs, and so we'll continue to push that. And I'll talk more about that at the end. And continue to looking for our specials, how we can restructure our specials, how we can restructure our INE times, our IAs, and make sure that they are best supporting our academics. Increase reading programs, and we changed to Common Lit in our middle school to get stronger engagement. We're working on reading incentives. We actually just rolled out, in collaboration with the district's Million Minute Challenge, we rolled out our own like push from here till break. We pushed that out this past weekend. We had a big a reading pep rally on Friday where Dr. Goodlett and I, my assistant principal, dressed like Thing 1, Thing 2 from The Cat in the Hat, as voted on by our students. And so we had a big thing like that to kick that off last Friday. We have just really looking at our data. We're in year 3 of using iReady in middle school, and then using the other programs like M-Class for elementary, and working to look at the data for that. Goal setting, we have asked our teachers to set goals based off of the instructional framework. We have multiple instructional leaders in the building who are kind of being accountability partners and working with them on their goals. And just being very strategic with our master scheduling. I think that being a K-8 school, it is very challenging, our scheduling, because we have to accommodate kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. They have to share the same specials teachers. They have to share the same lunchroom, which is different than every other school in the district, because with Surf City and Cape Fear, they're both K-8 buildings. They have separate specials. They have separate, they're completely divided, whereas we have to share those spaces. We have to share those people. And so it kind of gets a little tricky. So we were very strategic with our master planning, our master scheduling this year, and kind of created different things to help utilize and maximize our instruction. This one's about needing the educator preparedness. In a second, you'll kind of go through the specifics, but one of the items that, if you look at our teacher working condition surveys from the past couple of years, is this idea of trust within our building. Whether we trust
Within our building?
within the building, yes. The trust within teachers and to teachers, trust within teachers to admin, and that was preceding me for the past several years. I mean, and if you think the school's gone through several leadership changes over the past several years, and so, I mean, that can create, trauma within and of itself. And so that's something that we really identified, something as our school improvement team is something we're gonna really hone in on, is that building that trust within the building. And so one of the things was that we're reading the Speed of Trust as a school improvement team, and kind of building that into our habits. We created a staff investment committee who's focused on culture and morale within the staff, and that's all teacher-led. We have a better onboarding process that will help our new teachers as well. TSI goal, we're a TSI school, really using our TSI funds to fund getting this extra supports with people. I think we have enough stuff within our buildings and enough materials. I think at this point, just spending money on people, whether it be for tutors, whether it's spending on money on our teachers to supporting our kids after school, or different parts like that. Just really we're spending our money with our TSI resources. And also being very strategic, again, like I said, with our master scheduling on where we place our students with disabilities, and like as far as with who and how often, and there's the strategic planning with that. These are our goals there. Like I said, kind of talked about it, 95% attendance for staff and students. Those are our goals there through 2028. I should probably say 2027, but so increasing every year for those. And then there's that bottom, you'll see, that's where I was talking about that, the atmosphere of trust and respect. Last year it was rated at a 43 for that particular one. There is an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect within the school is what that one was at, which is below 50%, which is nothing that you want to see. So eventually the goal would be to push that to 80% or higher over the next several years. So some celebrations and where we're planning to go from here. School report card 2023-2024 was a 48, moved up to a 54. So again, that 1 point away from that C level at 55. We're continuing empowering our teachers, really pushing our teachers to become the instructional leaders, letting them have opportunities within themselves. Increased focus on standards. I'll speak more about this today in our staff meeting if you're those who are attending. Some highlights of our check-in scores, but I really wanted to highlight some of our science scores. Those were them last year at this time, and then this year. So you see a massive increase in our science, which again is a piece that gets missing a lot of this when we talk about reading and math, but it also counts for proficiency levels. So those are some of the 11 scores right there that we're missing. And so the next steps here is we've being very successful with our intercessions. I would like to open our intersessions to all. So before, we've been doing very strategic and inviting, kids who our teachers think would be the most helpful, but I want to open it up to all of our students and open it up. It's been kind of just a trial run up to this point, so now we want to open it up to all students, so intercession for all. Teacher tutors, continue to push teachers to tutor their own students, because as many outside tutors we can hire, but teachers know their kids the best, and so how they can best support their kids. And additional tutoring opportunities. And then the last one, if you'll come this afternoon, I invited all of you. Our staff is presenting on the Leader in Me, that visits that we did. Just kind of quick background. I'll get more information this afternoon, but I challenged my staff last year, again, going back to Penderly's the place to be. I challenged my staff last year to think about what is next for Penderly. How can we continue to evolve as a school? And one of the things was that we took all last year with a group of teachers. We decided where we wanted to kind of what avenue we wanted to go down. And they landed on Leader in Me. And so this year, at the beginning of the year or during our fall break, I've found several schools, 6 schools total, that have implemented Leader in Me, which is based off of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits. And we went and visited those schools. And when I tell you Dr. Breedlove was there, it was an emotional situation outside of one of those schools. Teachers were crying, and so I decided I want my staff to present that to the rest of the staff, those who went. And so that's why I wanted to present it to y'all, so y'all see where we're going and the impact it has. And so more information on that this afternoon, if you guys will be able to make it. If not, we'll definitely fill you in. Any questions?
No, I had a comment. My family chose Penderly for both of my children, and wouldn't change that for anything. But Stephen Covey changed my life as a graduate student at NC State. I took a whole class on time management, and what that could do for elementary and middle school age students, I just can't imagine how life-changing that would be.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to hear about what that has the potential to do if we can implement that.
oh yeah, well, it's not, we will be, it's going to be the way we're going to be pushing for it. I mean, I think that if you saw the fire that my staff had after those meetings, they are fired up for it, ready to roll.
Yeah, I've heard from some of them, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of them, but they were excited.
Awesome.
So I
Yes.
love that.
Anything else?
Again, I saw everything up there, all that green. And again, I don't expect to see you up here next year. But I do recognize that you do have a special group of challenges. I mean, you do have K-8 in one building. It's not Penderly K-8, it's Penderly School.
Yes.
And I never really thought of it like that, that you do have a special set of challenges with that. But I think that what you're bringing to the table is consistency.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's going to go further with teachers than anything. Because like you said, we've kind of had a lot of staff turnover there. And we've also had administrative turnover. But like I said, with everything, I think consistency is going to help with this situation also. But I see you in there really trying, and I want to say thank you. And I will be there today. I too had Covey training back when I was working with the Army Corps of Engineers, and it's phenomenal. It really is. I mean, it resets your thinking, and yeah, it makes you look at things with totally different perspective. I'm a fan also. So, yeah, I will be there today, and thank you very much for everything that you're doing out there. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
How long have you been the principal there?
This is my second year.
Yeah, I'm answering questions already.
Yes,
know,
yeah.
but,
So yes,
Thank you for the great job. I've been to your school, Ms. Hanson, and we really enjoyed touring it. And yeah, I can tell you're a great leader too. And so.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have one question. Do you have PACEs at your school?
Yes, so we actually don't have PACEs at our school. We actually have all free after-school care with through 21st Century, which is our elementary school, and then we have CIS for our middle school. So we,
Do you know how many students are in those?
we're at capacity for elementary school. I know that. Got to get the numbers right off the top of your head.
I was just curious, not only.
Yeah, we have we're at capacity for elementary school, and our middle school is growing. we have a new lead for CIS after school, and so they're growing, and they're continuing to push for enrollment for that piece.
Now, do you have instructional days, like instructional?
Yes, and so, I mean, we're actually having it next Monday. If y'all are interested, I'll send y'all an invite.
Yeah.
Would you invite me?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, next Monday, yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, I'll send y'all an invite so you have all the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so last one up today is Mr. Nick Paquette, so I'd like to invite him up for Pender High School.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, board, staff. To those online, I'm Nick Paquette. To those I haven't met, I have a timer. I've been warned. I can talk about school for a good while. Also,
Never been
board,
known
I
to
did
ramble.
press my shirt and tuck it in for you, and then the universe humbled me with my pen breaking, so forgive me. We're here to talk Pender High School, one of my favorite topics. Something is a labor of love and something that's producing good fruit, but we stand before you with a state-designated low-performing school label. Before I begin, I would like to give a shout-out to Avery Ellington and to Paige Garza and Brian Allen and their teams who are not represented here today, who were a year ago, members of our feeder pattern who are doing the hard work. Those have produced a yield. To the principals who preceded me here, keep up the good fight. This is turnaround work. It is difficult work. And there are many successes. But in the state's designation, there are some truths, and there are equations used to make these decisions. And so we stand here, I stand on behalf of 1,000 behind me, knowing that Pender High is good ground, but we're not there yet. And so we want to make sure that you're as updated as you care to be in this moment and then in follow-up. And I'll do my best to contain the time to things that are useful. Our vision is that we are doing this in a human-centered approach such that the next 70 and 80 years of students' lives are better impacted. That's what we're really after. Of course, in the school performance grade, that isn't captured very well there, but that is the heart of our community, the spirit of this school in its 50th year, to continue to produce great citizens who come back and stay and contribute. And so we're aligning with that. Our mission is to provide students with relevant, differentiated instruction and opportunities for service learning. That's a key component. You'll find our students participating in activities throughout Pender County and even in New Hanover County, representing from parades and color guard opportunities to the Ironman events. Pender High School inevitably will be represented. It's a key piece of what we do. This year, something that's not mentioned here is really our mantra. I'm in my third year. I'll answer in advance at Pender High School. And how do we keep momentum happening? It is good ground and keeps getting better in every measurable category. And then there's this one where we somewhat stay stuck. So I'll spend 33 seconds on that. Our mantra this year is keep sweeping. An ode to my mother who despised laziness. If there was ever a chair to be sat in, she would remind me very quickly, hey, there's something to do. Keep sweeping. Additionally, believe it or not, in Luke, there's a parable of the coin, the lost coin, in which something very valuable to this woman is lost and misplaced in her house, and she spares no amount of time, effort, or energy to make sure that she recaptures what's dear to her. And in this model of the schoolhouse, that coin is representing our students. We must continue to find ways to connect with everyone such that they leave better than they come, and we're committed to that mission. We serve today 619 students. Not atypical. We see at quarter breaks, people make decisions, and that's the right time to do that. Ultimately represented in about a third, fitting our feeder pattern of students in each particular demographic. Here's the good stuff. That's also the challenging stuff. You see here represented the breakdown of a high school performance report card, a little bit different. One of the things that I would note to you and for you is that a significant portion, Math 1 primarily, and biology, as well as English 2, those three high-impact school report card indicators are captured in the first 1.5 to 2 years of a student's participation at the high school level. We'll speak more about how we're using that challenge because what we see that's not represented here specifically is where we find things like the ACT Work Keys Indicator or Math 3 EOC performance. And students have stuck with us for a little bit of time. We're seeing growth in proficiency and growth in pure growth in both of those indicators. It takes us some time at the high school to integrate students. The research would say about an entire quarter to transition to what it just looks like to be a high school student. And then the North Carolina model of school performance grades, that produces a challenge when our grade is based upon your first interaction with the high school culture whatsoever. And so we're responding to that. We do see, and I want to call out a 4-year cohort graduation rate decline in this particular last school performance grade, something that is in our top priority, as we'll get to in a second. Why is that? An anomaly we have each and collectively studied and spent time on, and we'll see some data indicators that speak to it. But inevitably, we were sitting in late April right about the 89%. We felt very good about that, but not uncommon in turnaround work. As we went through every file, everywhere, over the last 3 years, we found a group of 12 students who had been effectively, I'll call it, miscoded. And that will never happen again. We have put, I think, system-wide some things in place with my colleagues at Topsoil and at Trash to ensure that our state reporting in terms of cohorts with our data managers, and shout out to mine, Ms. Mandy Baker, who has put very healthy structures and systems, and that was tough. We did respond to that. I just want to speak to that because if I were listening in, that's a concern. As soon as we knew that information, we put certified letters on letterhead with options for students to return and to figure out where they are and did our best. We did recapture 2 of those, and I feel good about that. That was a lot of time, effort, and energy spent on a thing for students that mattered, but we had just never met before. We had not seen those names. We had never interfaced with those students. And through clerical errors had been coded as something other than what they were, which were students who chose a different option other than high school. So we eat that, own that, and we move forward. We see overall our growth is doing what should happen, by the way. I think people want miracles sometimes in this work for turnaround work, but the research says we are about where we should be. That frustrates no one more than me, I promise, who wants to and wish for see something different. But we've seen over the 3 years every indicator moving in a healthy direction, including growth, still not meeting growth in any particular area. We are studying as a school improvement team our greatest subgroup growth, which was from our white subgroup of students. So whatever we were doing landed most effectively as it's measured in the school performance grade there. Why is that? These are questions we're challenging our teams with district-wide. To assist us in what do you see in this, because otherwise than that group we see really not statistical significant responses to what we've done in these areas that are monitored. What are we doing? We're eliminating opportunity gaps. We're attempting and hopefully have demonstrated to you and our stakeholders increased communication. There isn't an opportunity that someone desires that we put barriers in the way to really get into what this work is. We are continuing on our path to establish a clear climate of purpose and order. We appreciate the district's support and the consequence continuum and using that and with our students and families to really understand better what are school acceptable behaviors and how school functions. Shout out to every educator, by the way, standing in a room right now in October within this district. This is a tough time of year where the behaviors sometimes are more outlier than what we've seen in other eras of education, and we're having to adjust and adapt to that. And I just appreciate Dr. Breedlove and your team for coming alongside us to make sure that schools are a place for teaching and learning to occur, and the natural fruit of that would be joy. And so we are using that. We are responding with teams for those students who are showing more significant behaviors, but we're really putting our time, effort, and energy into teaching better, teaching more rigorous instructions, putting our time, effort, and energy, which will be showed here on performance, putting our strategy behind grouping students. Every person in every department believes their thing matters most, and they should. I would stand here and suggest to you that the most important thing we'll ever do is put the right person in front of a group of kids, the right group of kids. And so we're spending a lot of time on that. depending on the needs of the student, really looking at our co-teaching models, making sure that we're supporting instructionally the work because the school performance grade is dependent upon those things. We are continuing to focus on retention, right? Reducing attrition, supporting teachers with real-time supports for the issues we're seeing and facing. Post-COVID public school is a very different thing. And the challenges are unique and the resources are slower to come. And so we are standing in the gap with your support and gratitude for that to make sure that we're working on the right things. We're doing that efficiently, and we're doing it at a pace and a place where the joy of what this opportunity to be called an educator has fueled so many of us for so long. And so we're continuing that with a real focus on reading, writing, thinking, by the way, and speaking along with our district, and those are the right moves. We continue on that. We have woeful monies, but we make do with what we can, and you all have answered the call every time something has stood outside of those funds, and I appreciate that, to really make sure that our instructional focus is really supported. We spent so much time just winning back a school building to health, and now we are able to really dive in and work with our teams to create appropriate supports to make sure, again, that teachers are teaching the right group of kids and they have the right supports in place to do that. We do intend to, like my colleagues, I imagine this room be empty next year, empty 60 minutes on your agenda. I perceive that. That would be just about what we've been working towards, and we're seeing the fruit of that already, so I hope to join them in that. Of course, exceeding growth would ensure that for us, and that's our goal. We continue to work towards, again, just the sheer number of office referrals. Over a year ago, and certainly over a year previous to that, we've seen tremendous and healthy movement towards school-appropriate behaviors and communicating what those are and holding the expectation. Quarter one we just looked at, we had 164 office referrals, which if we extrapolate that out, we'd be down another 33%, which would be a healthy sign. Of the 164, 63 of them were related to cell phones. It's the lion's share, and fighting that good fight to every parent, if you would, please, not only look at the report cards which come out today, that's for every school in Pender County, isn't that right? Through Infinite Campus, except for Pender Lee, my apologies, Pender Lee. But also that cell phone thing, the cell phones got them, folks.
Yeah.
We're doing everything we can, and you are too. And parents, we're asking for you not to step out of that conversation about appropriate use of technology. It's a true barrier. It is for all of us. Mindlessness can take over. Distraction takes over. Getting on a tangent, so going to a daily attendance. We have seen 2 years ago a daily attendance rate of 90%, which was a win over the year previous to that. Last year, leading all high schools, and I think other than Pila, all Pender County schools, with a 93.26 daily attendance rate. We have really tried to create an environment where kids want to be there. And we've done that, and the signs are showing that, and we're continuing to see even better results. I believe starting day one through yesterday afternoon, we're sitting about 93.88%. And so we've got our eye on that. We have teams working on that and meeting regularly to support families. We'll also just offer to the board, if you didn't know, or anyone listening, there's a very clear indicator of student attendance at the high school level. You check their CUME file for elementary attendance. Most of the students who we find to be truant or facing those challenges have been doing so since pre-K. They're the same students where our interventions haven't necessarily changed the behavior. And so it's a very dense problem to solve, but we will not give up in solving it. We are blessed with a very targeted tutoring support structure this year, particularly in our math being priority one for us. While we didn't see necessarily the growth in math, we did exceed what students were projected to do. Our feeder pattern presented to us 2.8% of students who were projected to be proficient in Math 1, basic algebra. The result of that was 6.6%, which makes me cringe as well, but is an ode to those teachers who fought the good fight and students left better than they came. We are ever reviewing our master schedule for considerations, and with that, what programs are we offering to students? Are they high interest, high value? The things that are leading to careers? Shout out Dominique Bates, the best in the business at what he does and his team does to support schools, and that being different maybe in each locale. continuing to just bring joy. I know my time is up, but we aren't stopping. We haven't sat down. We have kept sweeping and will do so. And we look forward to, I guess, celebrating in a different way, because we're celebrating good ground, good things are happening at Pender High School, and there's a team of people back there right now making sure that happens with or without me. What we've done is bring a community along who has supported it once again. I think when I stood before, and I'll finish with this, the first time I met this board, which of course was not composed as it is now, my early report, just as an outsider in with a job to do, was there seemed to be a question mark over Pender High School. It once was, but had gone through maybe a difficult patch, and people just weren't certain if it was good ground or not. I can say that I would suggest, not because my name's on it, because people have really come and demonstrated through action, through support and resource, their love for it in a very meaningful way, that there's clearly in the 50th year an exclamation point on every event and every opportunity. It feels good. It looks good. It is good. And I appreciate your continued support, and apologies for being here under this topic today. Reserving and yielding the rest of my time, which was shorter than both previous principals, by the way. I'd like that on the record. I yield to you for questions. Anything you got, I won't run from it.
Couple things. I mean, can we go back to that slide? School culture and climate. Tell me what you feel about that. How you're feeling about that.
How am I feeling about that? I believe that Pender High School is, all right, how do I, my gut, I can't lie to Jen Hansen. I believe what we've created together is the most healthy, genuinely beautiful, general comprehensive public high school, probably on this side of the Mississippi. I think every visitor recognizes it the moment you walk in the door. We have a true family atmosphere. I would dare say we are beyond first name basis with every student. We know about them. We know their baggage. We know their future. We know their current challenges. We know we got each other. And so in terms of school culture, if there's something else to be left in that category, I don't know what it is. We are firing at a very healthy place to have real conversation about true issues, many of them community-based and happening in homes out of our control that show up seeking an answer from us. And we celebrate a lot. And I think when you put those two things together in terms of a school culture, we saw last week unsolicited, which was cool to me, that our district staff working in this building and I believe the other, wanted to know what our Spirit Day was so they could align with us and show up to the game and celebrate. And you all have been present and you all have been concerned and made the adjustments. I think there's a culture of trust. I think what Stephen Harris spoke of is so true. I remember those days and being in that spot, but overwhelmingly so, where trust is at the center of a thing, good fruit will happen. And I think that's where we are.
I'll say I'm proud, having been a parent, substitute teacher, whatever at Pender High. I'm proud of the work that you're doing.
Appreciate that.
And the leadership that you have there, and you have some great staff in there.
Well, wonderful.
For showing up. Tell me about math, though. Are we a full staff?
Well, all right, tell you about math, okay.
I mean, we're talking, we might as
Yeah,
well do it,
no,
right?
let's talk about it. Okay, so when 3 years ago we got there, we were 5 allocated math positions. We had 1 math teacher. And no one shied away from this. Where we are in current day is we have 3 in-person math teachers, all certified. Then we are, with the support of the district, meeting regularly and students and families to work through providing virtual instruction with I'll call it a teacher assistant in the room as well, live body, but a certified math teacher who is providing instruction for students. We are additionally have been very strategic and supported in infusing student tutors, students who have proven successful both at Pender High School and the early college, who are provided a small stipend far beneath what they deserve for what they do, who push into those rooms. Additionally, in the math area, we are utilizing community and schools Shout out Abby Shaughnessy, who is amazing and math-minded, who supports, particularly in our tested rooms right now, and pulling small groups and providing additional support. Shout out Leanne Radaball, Craig Lawson, and every person with a hand in tutor.com that we push and utilize very healthily, which provides 24/7 in any language you choose, additional support in any discipline. But we're really hyping that up and using it in our math area and profile. And then tomorrow at 2:30, we're going to interview a certified math teacher and continue the quest to make sure that we're positioned as healthy as possible, meeting with our teams to study this virtual style of instruction that has, again, real people in the room, heavy administrative presence. Kendra Bradshaw, shout out to her, who has her finger right on the pulse of our key priority goal, to meet regularly with teachers and PLCs, align instruction, and to make sure that we are providing the best education possible. I've skipped likely our single biggest strategy deployment this year, which was that master schedule use. With this model, we were able to do what the research has always said is best, but logistically we've been unable to, which is providing kids an opportunity. So every student who is enrolled in 9th grade is participating in Foundations of Math 1 prior to taking the Math 1 course in the spring. The exception of that is a group of Math 1 honor students who came school independent learners from our feeder elementary schools who are participating now in the fall. The remaining math course offerings this fall are Foundations of Math 1 to allow students a year-long opportunity to close gaps, as well as to accelerate where possible. And so that was a huge endeavor, and we are supporting it with everything we have to put all of those pieces together to not stay stuck in this narrative where this is just kind of how it is. And so we are studying it. It is not just on autopilot. It is a daily interface that includes student opinion and feedback too. And at another time, I can share some learnings. For instance, students who come to us who don't know odd versus even numbers. Right, that's a far place away from the North Carolina Standard Course of Study as it relates to Math 1 standards, right? And so that student is not broken. We're not trying to fix them. We're trying to use the best tools available to close those gaps. Those are imperative skills. And that's a dramatic example, but it's a very real one as we continue towards our quest. Great question.
Yeah, I got one last question.
Sure.
Is that the jacket that PTA bought for all the staff?
Well, thank God I had it in my car today.
It was one of the
I'm gonna
last
say
things we
yes.
did.
That sounds like we'll give them a plug.
I
We
think
shout
that
out
was
to all
last-
of our booster supporters. I think they did bless our staff with these. I think you're right about that.
My last year.
And many of us wear them very proudly, which is cool to see. The gear come back and people being proud of wearing, Pender High branded stuff, which is pretty cool. Sir?
Ms. Hanson and I went to your instructional days last year.
Yes.
Are you going to invite us back again?
Of course, yes. We'll make sure we do. We're trying to work outside of the most crowded window where people feel obligatory. As all things Pender High, we like to do things a little bit different, set apart.
I will
We'll
say-
have you in that room, yes.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yes.
will say, when I went out there, that was not what I was expecting. I
Sure.
had heard horror stories from in the past. I saw not one student late for class when that bell rang. I saw orderly. I saw no cell phones. I looked for that.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Great teachers.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I'm probably opening a big can of worms.
I like it.
Ms. Burns probably gonna be mad at me. No. It was obvious to me that when we voted on the 3-tier, you were sitting back there, that you were disappointed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
How do you think that would help you?
Ask that last part one more time.
Why were you disappointed, that we didn't start your school at 7:10?
Yeah, I'm about to tap back into the energy of that time and give you I think twofold. Primarily, and I've been in contact with Dr. Sasser on this to really study it in practice. And so now I'm kind of grateful that they got to go first, right? And I get to sit back. But recouping instructional time, particularly as it relates to the percentage of students we have at Pender High School who are involved in extracurricular things, sports, ROTC, which is just nationally thriving, to be able to limit those number and frequency of interruptions to me was something very high on our list. The use of time is a priority strategy for us that we are looking at outside of that decision. But at that time, maybe I was ahead of myself and counting on, here is a relief of that. I mean, it is a weekly basis where teams, which can be up to 75 students participating, are leaving for the lion's share of fourth period, and the challenges that come with master scheduling to basically decide what instructionally matters more or less than another area, knowing that that's inevitable. The soccer team left out yesterday at 2:30, and I mean, it's just a constant. And so to be able to avoid that in my role.
That would be eliminated.
Correct. Best I can tell, completely eliminated, which again has impact on others from the principal seat in a turnaround, continually low-performing school. Time is what any of us have. Instructional time is significantly limited, and when that decision was made that way, that air went out a bit to have to go back to our board, if you will, and a problem that potentially could be solved in one swoop now has to be solved a lot differently in ways that inevitably we're putting instructional outcomes on a scale. Is biology more important or less important than Carpentry 1? I mean, we had opened up a whole, these things in the master schedule where you only have these blocks of time. And so I think that was primary. The secondary was, I really believe in one Pender. I don't know if I wasn't supposed to believe it, but I just really did. When the man said, this is what we're doing, and I was hired at the pleasure of the superintendent, our whole school bought into that, and I think you did too. And so to have something different on one area versus another area on a matter that inevitably is going to have a lot of opinion, and shout out to every one of you for every email I didn't get and all the things that you've dealt with. Of course, families have their opinion on a matter, but from a school perspective, anytime we can unify in our decision maker, and from the school level, there was a lot of employee support at Pender High School. I won't speak to others because I'll get hate mail too, about the reality that our students participate in activities. That comes with building culture and joy. They started a new tennis team, a new art club, a new drama club, a new this. And when you're doing those things, time becomes a relevant factor. And so I hope that honors the spirit of your question. To the truth, I was hard to go by. I wasn't mad. I thought it was going one way and it went another way. And then we were stuck solving that problem again.
I'll share with the board, in talking with a staff person, I won't say who it is, at Pender High, like the one particular week, if a child, we have children students, I'll say, that participate in multiple sports at one season.
Sure.
So if you were playing boys soccer and you were running cross-country, you were absent from fourth period 3 days in 1 week. That's a lot of instructional time for that one class. I mean, that's, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 hours in 1 week of instructional time that they're missing because they had to leave early.
Yeah, and so, just in response to that, we didn't do nothing and complain to you, right? We went back and talked about appropriate use of our planning time to design instruction that tried to account for that in advance rather than reactively. And we're doing so. So not the end of the world one way or the other, but time.
Time.
You get a set amount of time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Heather?
Yes, sir, just a comment.
Sure.
Right back to what I said to Mr. Harris about Pender Lee, consistency. You have been out there, what,
Third year.
third year?
Yes.
Sorry, I was about to say two. Okay.
No, you can't skip none of those years. We earned every one.
But again, like I said, I think consistency is also going to be one of the fact that you're there. And I think it takes time for everybody to gel,
Sure.
especially admin. And I know that Pender High's had a few admin turnovers.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think you're on the right path, and I thank you for all that you're doing out there.
Appreciate you.
And just a side note, I never get, the only time I get upset is the question that wasn't asked. And I thought that was a pretty good question, actually, because if we are going to look at changing a schedule, there needs to be conversation with principals and
Sure.
parents and
Yeah, I
everybody
mean,
else.
you know,
So,
just, you didn't ask me, but now we have a whole group of schools who have learned a whole lot that I don't know. They've lived through something that has impacted my house, as some of my students, my kids, my personal kids attend those schools. We've adjusted. It's been fine. It's been good in many ways. But in terms of the school perspective, I'm sure there are teams, I'm not them, studying that. What has been the implication? I have learned that there is traffic on Highway 17 in all of this. So for whatever that's worth, I'll give you that head start.
That traffic would be there.
Oh,
that traffic
oh,
was
it
there
is.
way before three-tier. So, yeah, well, and I will say, the east side had a whole set of problems that the
Sure.
west side does not have, which was one of the major causes of three-tier. So, but, everything I'm hearing is it gets better all the time, so, but,
I, Nick
I can
Paquette,
understand why
principal
you-
of Pender High, support a three-tier system.
Okay.
It makes perfect logical sense to do the job we're tasked to do.
or you support the 7-10 schedule?
100%.
Okay,
Thank you very
I
much.
think the school district has no choice in the work that we're tasked to do.
right.
That makes sense to me. Is
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well,
that it?
Thank you for that.
thank you
you
for
all.
the
Appreciate you.
presentation, sir.
So just to end the school improvement conversation, at this point, the 3 schools that we have that are still in school improvement are our top priority. We will be providing additional supports, as we have already, within those schools, and just helping them to move forward as they're, going through, in addition to making sure that we still support those schools that just newly exited being in school improvement, so Burgon Middle, West Pender Middle, Alpus Corner. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but we want to make sure that we just continually support these principals.
Dr.
in-
Sawyer, I
in-
do want to make a comment just to the board so that you understand what is across the state, the facts. 21.7% of all schools, public schools, are considered D or F schools in the state of North Carolina. Of that 21.7%, 95% of those schools are schools of poverty. All right, this is about socioeconomic status and an accountability model that heavily weighs in proficiency scores versus growth scores. You can see the growth that is happening in these schools and the work that's being done. My hat's off to these principals. My hat's off to the teachers that are back in those classrooms day in and day out. And my hat's off to the students who believe. And it takes the entire school, takes the entire district, including the Board of Education, to help with that belief and time and effort that's being spent to get the gains that these schools are making. Those schools have had remarkable growth. You saw CF Pope went from a 61 to 84.4% in student growth, which is truly amazing. And also, just looking at what they're doing, all 3 of them are doing best practices, MTSS, PLCs, multiple layers of tutoring that you heard about in each one of those schools, intensive professional development through Dr. Sawyer, her team, and working through ISD and supporting that. Advanced teaching roles you heard about. All of our schools want their own coaches, and they're able to do that through the grant. And it's allowing us to do that. Data-driven decision-making, positive behavior interventions, all of these things that are important for that to happen. And the consistency's our friend. And unfortunately, over the years, less and less resources are coming into public education. You all heard of the Leandro case. I think there was, 5.6 billion that was supposed to come into public education, and we are not getting that. That has not been delivered. And next year, we are facing a 25% decrease in federal Title I funds. That is going to have direct impacts on each one of these schools and the personnel and resources that they have. And what's happening is it's putting more and more pressure on our local governments to try and make up the difference. And I just want our audience to know, I want you to know that we're not going to bellyache. We're going to get after it, and we're going to do the best that we can with what we have, and we're going to continue to help support the belief that our students, no matter if they come from schools of poverty or schools of wealth, that the expectation is achievement, and we're going to work to meet that goal and build them up rather than bring them down. So I felt that I needed to let everyone know kind of what we're up against. But we have no quit in us. We will continue to push forward as a school system. And I can't thank our board enough for the support that you have not only given, but you've shown to go into instructional rounds, being a part of what's happening in and out of our schools. You all are friendly faces when you walk into those buildings, and our teachers and staff really appreciate it. So thank you all very much.
And there is new legislation out there that they're looking at the accountability model, so hopefully we'll be able to get some equity as far as that's concerned and that some relief where that is as well.
What does that mean?
So the accountability model that we have, that's 80% proficiency and 20% growth, they're looking at what
50-50.
that model could look like, in addition to changing the actual, the number score, because what they've realized is a lot of the schools that are in school improvement are middle schools, because every single student is tested in a middle school, where in a high school, right, you only have 3 subjects, and in an elementary school,
English, math, and science.
3, 4, 5, right? You don't have K1, 2. So in a middle school, everyone's tested, everyone counts, and more schools are in school improvement at the middle school level than anywhere else, just because of that. And it is an inequitable, split. So hopefully they'll be making some changes with that in the next year or so.
And I know we have, there has to be some way we have to have some way of being accountable and testing students. But I'm thinking back to my days as an EOG and an EOC testing proctor. There is nothing that will put those things in perspective for you, like taking a child to the bathroom and holding their hair because they're throwing up because they're so nervous about taking these tests. That really puts it in perspective for you. I mean, did for me.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before we move on, I just wanted to say one thing. In all 3 of these presentations that came out today, that we've got 2 new board members who have taken up the dedication to actually go out on instructional rounds. And Ms. Hanson and Mr. Reeves, it's noticed. And I can't thank you enough for going out there, taking the time, going out there and finding out actually how our schools work and what's being taught. It takes a lot of initiative to do that, and I just want to say thank you to both of you for that. Like I said, it struck me today when I was hearing all of that, hearing everyone talk. You guys have been to all 3 of our schools that were presented today and actually participated in the classroom experience, and I just want to say thanks for that. You deserve a pat on the back for that, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to number 7.1, operations. MVP presentation. Dr. Grimm, welcome.
Thank you. It's hard to follow our principals. They did a great job today. So just want to compliment them for that. So I have 4 items I want to present as possible agenda items for the next board meeting. The first one is MVP is going to be presenting monthly here at the board meetings. Our project managers, they're out on site where the construction is taking place, and they're going to have 3 or 4 slides. It'll be a short presentation, and they're going to give you updates. They'll talk about change orders, any upcoming things that you might need to know about, concerns, any positives, cost savings. Those are the kind of things that I believe they're going to wrap up into their presentation. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Any questions on that? Okay. Second one is the MVP Pay App will be on the agenda. Third one will be the J.H. Lee KA Pay App number 15. And then lastly, the J.H. Lee Change Order app will also be on the agenda. So those are the four things will have. Any questions?
No questions.
For me, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, at this time, we are going to now go into closed session. If I could have a motion for closed session, please? Okay.
I will make that motion, Mr. McPherson will read the proper one.
Absolutely. I move that the board enter into closed session, subject to the advice from the attorney pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and A6 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel information under General Statute 115C-319 and to consider matters related to personnel matters. The board will also enter into closed session pursuant to 143-318A3 to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney and client privilege and to consider confidential student matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 123G and North Carolina General Statute 115C-402, and to consider and give instruction to the board's attorney concerning JG regarding v. Pender County Board of Education, Burns Fisher versus Pender County Board of Education, and LD versus Pender County Board of Education.
All right, I will make that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second.
And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we are now in closed session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. We are now back from closed session at this time. Do we have a motion to come out of closed session?
I make a motion, we come out of closed session.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we are now officially out of closed session. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our agenda, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much.